guys stay here, but I'm going to go in the other room and tell some strangers. The other little child that came today, I'm going to go over there and tell them the story, and you guys just stay here. How would that make you feel? You'd kind of be disappointed, right? You'd be like, what's going on? We sat up here to listen to a story. Now you leave us. Jesus had the same problem. Here in Luke 15, the Jews weren't very happy that he wasn't giving them all the attention. So Jesus had grown up and he was going to be their Messiah, but they didn't understand that the Gentiles or the sinners would be into the kingdom as well. So here in chapter 15, it says the publicans and sinners drew near to Jesus to hear him. He was going to tell a story, and they all drew near. And the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, "This man receiveth these sinners. He's eating with them." And so Jesus, seen what was going on, he said, I'm going to tell you guys a story, a parable to help you understand what's going on. So he said, if a man has 100 sheep and he leaves, does he not leave the 99 and go out in the wilderness to try to find one, the one that he lost? So here we're going to pretend like we have 100 sheep. And the shepherd is here, and he's watching over his sheep, right? Then he starts counting his sheep. He's like, he had left them for an hour or so, and he comes back, and he starts counting them all. 1, 2, skip a few, 99, and the 100th one is not there no more. So he starts looking everywhere. Starts looking, counting the sheep again, looking behind the bushes. He can't find it. Where should he look for his sheep? Does anyone have any idea what bush this sheep would be hidden behind? Should he turn around and go on the other side of the mountain? So he can't find him anywhere here. So he turns around, goes up the hill, and he finally turns a bush over, and he finds the poor little sheep laying there. And he gathers it up in his arms, and he takes it back to the herd. Well, the canes, it must think it's Christmas. It's a candy cane. He wants to curl up. He finds the one little lost sheep, and he brings it back, and he tells everyone, "Rejoice, I have found the one sheep that was lost." Now, why do you guys think this sheep got lost? Well, I just assumed that it was a little sheep. It fed with its mommy, and pretty soon it got bigger and bigger, and it started wandering around, playing, thinking it can do its own thing. And it wandered over the mountain, and it got lost. So sometimes we wander away. We think we want to do things ourselves, and we get lost. And he said, even though there's 99 sheep here, the one that was lost is the one that Jesus is going to go find. And once he finds it, rejoice. Well, they still weren't very happy. So he said, let me tell you another parable. Which one of you, having 10 silver dollars, lost one if a woman loses it in her house? Doesn't she sweep the whole house, turn over the couch pillows until you find that one silver dollar? Then you rejoice. They said, well, yeah, but they still weren't happy. He said, well, I'll tell you one more story. This is how you guys are acting. One time there was a man who had 2 sons. The one son took all the inheritance, all the money, and he left. He started partying. He lost all the money. Then he got so hungry that he started feeding the pigs. And he said, I would gladly eat the food that the pigs are eating, but you guys won't even let me eat that. He said, I'm going to go back to my father. His servants have plenty of food. And he said, don't even call me a son, just call me a servant. And just like this lost sheep, the father was looking every day for his lost son. One day he looked up, seen him coming, and he rejoiced. He had a great big celebration. Now the other brother was like the 99 sheep. He said, why are you celebrating? He didn't even come into the celebration. He was mad. He said, the father said, you need to rejoice. This one son was lost. He was dead. Now he's alive, He was lost, and we found him. But they were being like little brats. If I would go over there and tell this one little kid the gospel story, and you guys all know it already, they were not happy because they weren't getting all the attention. They weren't having a celebration for these 99 sheep. So we can learn something from that. We need to celebrate over the one person that gets lost. And it says the angels in heaven rejoice over one sinner more than the 99 righteous. So as we're in this story of the sheep, we'll keep on going to where Jesus says that I am the good shepherd. In John 10, he says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that enters not by the door into the sheepfold, but come in some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. So these shepherds, so they wouldn't lose their sheep, had sheepfolds, right? And at night, there were wolves and other animals that would attack these sheep, so they would take them, call them by name, and then they would all follow the shepherd, and they would go into the sheepfold. And then he said, and I am the door. So he would stand in front of it and guard it so all the sheep would be safe. Now, there were many shepherds and many sheep that would all go into here. How would they know which sheep belongs to each shepherd? In the morning when it's time to go, he would call them by name, and each sheep knew the shepherd's voice, and they would go back out into the pasture to eat. And so Jesus was telling these people, he said, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep do not hear him. So if a thief or robber would come and try to get these sheep, they would climb over the fence and try to get in some other way. The sheep would not come out. They would not recognize their voice. They would not follow them. So Jesus said what he was trying to say, that you need to listen to my voice. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved. Right? And then he can go in and out and find pasture. So if this door, if what Jesus is saying, if we need to get into heaven, there's only one way into heaven. Which way do you guys think that is? Azariah, do you know? If there's only one way into heaven, Jesus says, I am the door. How can we get into heaven? Through that door. Through Jesus. There's only one way in. We might try to go in some other way, then we would be a thief and a robber. Do thieves and robbers get into heaven? Nope, they can't make it. So there's only one way in. And he said, you know, there are other people. Sometimes shepherd would hire people to watch their sheep, and they would pay them. And when a big bad wolf would come, the sheep would end up dying because the hireling would run away, the people they paid. Jesus said, I am not like that. I will lay down my life for my sheep. And we'll see that happen. He laid down his life. He said, I have other sheep. See, this is what he was trying to tell them. I tell you the story, but there's other people who need to listen to the story as well. So I have other sheep which are not of this fold. So what I had to think of, remember that song that says, Jesus loves the little children of the world, all the little children of the world? Then how does it go? Red, brown, yellow, black, and white, all are precious in his sight. So there's other sheep, other different colors. Everyone, as long as they know Jesus' voice and follow him, they are his sheep. So we need to pay attention and listen to Jesus' voice so we can follow him. Now, so here's a picture of children coming to Jesus, following him, especially ones that are lost who don't know Jesus. You have to recognize his voice. Now, I have a little object lesson here to hopefully help you remember this lesson. So if Jesus says, I am the door, right? I'm going to cut a little door for you guys. He is the door. There's only one way into heaven, and if he is the door, we have to go through him. I want to cut straight. So Jesus is the door, right? Through this, you get into heaven. How many of you guys will fit through this door? Any of you? Maybe a very small child, right? Can small children, little babies get into heaven? Yes, because they have no sin. So we would say this door is like the law. Do you guys know what the 10 Commandments are? Do not lie, do not steal, do not kill. If you were perfect, you could get through this door, right? Is anyone here perfect? No, we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So what did Jesus say? If he is the door and he wants to protect us, he wants to make a way for us. So he laid down his life. So I'm going to lay this piece of paper down and I'm going to read Isaiah 53 of what Jesus did for us. He laid down his life and then he says he was wounded for our transgression. So I'm going to make a cut here, a big old wound in this piece of paper. So, and it says he was bruised for our iniquity. So we all have sin. So he was, remember all those stripes that they cut on his back? So I'm making a bunch of stripes here. And if you guys see, I have a pattern here that I'm cutting. Did God have a plan or a pattern before? He didn't just decide that one day I'm going to kill Jesus. No, he had a plan or a pattern. He knew that this was going to work before he started doing this. So now if I follow the pattern, it says the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. So with all these stripes, if we believe what Jesus did on the cross, we can be healed. It says, we have all, like sheep, have gone astray. Every one of us thought, we don't need mom or dad no more. We're big enough. We can do this by ourselves. And we went off a different direction. All of a sudden, we seen that we are lost. We need help. And who is the good shepherd that comes and finds us? Jesus, exactly. So we call out to Jesus, and if that little sheep would be behind that bush going, bah, bah, it'd be a lot easier to find, right? So if you guys ever get in a place where you feel lost, just call out to Jesus, and he'll find you a lot quicker than if you're just quiet. And how do we call out to Jesus? We pray, right? Any which way you call out to him, he can hear us. So now it says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. So he was cut off of the land for the living, and for the transgression of the people was he stricken. So he took the law and he lived it perfectly, and he took this door and he took that little door and he made it into a big door so that everyone can pass through. Do you guys think you can pass through this door now? Yeah. I might have to go on my hands and knees to go through, but that's a good place. I'm down on my knees, and Jesus says, now you can fit through this door. Okay? So through that door, through Jesus, he is the door that we can fit through and call upon. So he took that one little door and made it big so everyone who hears his voice can go through. So one more thing. Here is a little door, and each one of you gets one. Before you open it, our last verse in Kids Club. Do you remember what we tried to teach you guys at Kids Club? It was the very last verse, John 14:6. Jesus said, I am the way. Can anyone else finish it? What else? The truth. What else? The life. And no one comes to the Father except through me. Very good, Azariah. And Elmer challenged each one of the kids, if they would memorize that at Kids Club, he'd give them a juicy fruit piece of gum. And I kid you not, the whole cafeteria smelled like juicy fruit that day. It was a great day. So there's a little door, and if you want to know how to get through heaven, it's through Jesus, through that door. So Merry Christmas to you guys, and you guys go back to your seat.